If we want to reduce our plastic footprint by half, we have to collaborate with a lot of our plastic technology partners, a lot of the ecosystem partners and converters. So for example, Unilever is the only company in Southeast Asia today that uses post-consumer recycled plastic. This has been possible because we have partnered with companies based in Thailand, companies based in Southeast Asia, to develop the relevant technology solutions, overcome the technical barriers, scale up, and then actually implement commercially. We have also come together as industry to do several initiatives on plastic collection, sorting, and consumer education in Southeast Asia, which are not done by Unilever alone, but a lot of peer groups and peer companies. If we want to get to net zero carbon footprint. So what it means is actually understanding, first of all, the data that we have in the system. So first, we are a very data-driven company, and we want to know what our footprint is in the first instance. So one target we've taken on plastics, which is totally out of our comfort zone, is to collect and process more plastic than we put into the environment. Now, collection and processing of plastic is not a Unilever core activity. How do we collect more plastic? So again, it's partnerships. Again, it's working with NGOs, government bodies, plastic banks, for example, in Indonesia, to partner and find ways to be able to understand the end-to-end design of the system. We are active proponents of extended producer responsibility in all of Southeast Asia. We're also contributing to the design of the EPR scheme to be able to say that it should be designed for what Southeast Asia needs. We can learn from the best of Europe and Japan and the rest of the world, but actually full recycling hasn't been achieved anywhere. How could Southeast Asia leapfrog a couple of steps, taking the best of what's known, but adapting, for example, including the informal sector, the junk shops, and the networks that are already informally running in the country, and make them part of the organized solution. So when we look at the problem holistically, what we realized is that we need to take actions at different levels. Recycling is not a 100% solution to everything. So our design program is called Less Plastic, Better Plastic, No Plastic. And through this lens, we look at every single design opportunity to see if we can use less plastic or recycled plastic or no plastic at all. What we realize is that if we want to have a virtuous cycle, and especially looking at Southeast Asia where collection systems are minimal, the only way we can do that is that if we bring plastic back into the loop and make it circular. And to bring plastic back into the loop, there requires to be infrastructure, and there requires to be end applications which create value. There's 500 or 600 million worth of plastic waste, which if converted back to value, would pay for the entire cost of collection and management, plus provide employment, provide opportunities for several other activities along the chain. So we realized that one way to tackle the plastic problem is to unearth the value in plastic waste and be a part of the solution. We said we would be the first company to use post-consumer recycled plastic, and there was no capacity available in Southeast Asia. So we said we would import it. We would import from China and put recycled plastic into our packaging to tell everybody around that we are creating, we are here to buy. This is demand generation. Please go and invest in facilities. And indeed, in the last 3 years, a lot of private entities and big companies in Thailand with partnerships abroad have started investing in post-consumer recycled plastic. So one way to also encourage return of the plastic in the system is to start using more recycled plastic, which generates demand, which will increase the value, which will increase the entire supply chain end to end. So there are different ways we can tackle the problem. So while I said it's out of our comfort zone, at the same time, without doing a holistic solution, it won't be possible. You will see recently that the United Nations has come up with a proposal for a plastics treaty. Unilever has been a big proponent of this plastics treaty. The only way we believe to make it fully integrated and end-to-end across the globe would be to level the playing field and have this driven through inter-country treaty. Thailand has got a 2030 commitment on circular economy. That would not happen unless we have regulations on plastic collection, segregation, sorting at each stage. And we need to have databases that are able to capture the plastic footprint end to end. So what can be leapfrog in this situation? So Thailand, for example, is a highly digital economy. Now imagine a simple situation where every single collection point in the country is harmonized. Today, you consumers don't even know which bin is for what, right? And the bins are not tagged to tell you which kind of plastic or material they can accept. But if there was a QR code, you could read what the bin said and what can go into the bin. If these bins all across the country were connected through a common set of apps that talk to each other, so you know that any point of time, where is the plastic, which kind of plastic, and how much amount of plastic. And if you integrated the informal system into this database as well, you could imagine a world in a few years' time where the knowledge base and the availability of which kind of plastic where will itself create value, because there are always people looking to take plastic of good quality and make something useful out of it, but they don't know where to access it. So connectivity through digital tools is one area where you can leapfrog, but regulations is one thing where we can again leapfrog, because a lot of regulatory frameworks are available. We are doing the EPR for Thailand now. Could the EPR for Thailand be the most modern, forward-facing, front-looking EPR system in the world, where it integrates the informal sector, as I said, uses good quality data and database management, and brings everybody into the loop? One of the most important things we believe is when you're early stage in this kind of process, a combination of incentivization and regulations are both required. Early stage entrepreneurs getting into plastic recycling facilities, collection facilities, I think if they're encouraged with incentives, whether it's income tax incentives or other infrastructure capex incentives, it will help them to invest in that space. Consumer-faced communication on wet and dry, simplified infrastructure for collection, right regulations to ensure collection, sorting, and getting all the entire supply chain into the loop. These would be some of the things that we would recommend and advocate for if you want to make progress. Unilever's corporate purpose is to make sustainable living commonplace. And that means that every activity we do as an organization, including in R&D, where I'm a part of, is linked to making a positive difference to people and the planet. And unless it is at the center of what we do, it can't be done as a CSR activity or a side activity. But we believe that our purpose-led process by which we have brands with purpose, and everything that we do within brands is purpose-led, will help us drive growth, right? So if you look at, for example, market research data from Kantar, it will show you that over the last 12 years, purpose-driven brands have grown 175% faster than brands without purpose. People who join Unilever and believe in sustainability is 95%. So we have an army of evangelists in a way, within our organization. The number one reason to join Unilever is because of our sustainable living purpose. And that for me is great, because we're getting a lot of bright young minds every day joining the company in different parts of the world, who we know want to make a difference and find this a cooperation, a way that they can come and make a difference.
What would you say are the main leadership characteristics that you need in future leaders in your company?
I'd say the first thing we need are leaders with purpose and vision, because leaders with conviction will make a difference. The second thing for me is that the ability to collaborate and operate in a multi-stakeholder world is very critical nowadays. The understanding of the wider environment around us and all the stakeholders involved in it, and our role in the world, at the same time, our impact on the world, that understanding and ability to collaborate and work across different, so governments, NGOs, suppliers, the whole ecosystem end to end is going to be very critical. And the third, I'd say, always important, is can you develop yourself and develop your people? Because things are changing so fast around us. If we cannot adapt, be flexible, and constantly upgrade our skills, we're going to be left behind very soon. So this emphasis on understanding ourselves and trying to make ourselves better every time, but helping our colleagues and friends as well at the same time to build a system capability is also very critical to success in the future.